So, an attempt by the presidential candidate of the NNPP, Kwankwaso, to refocus attention away from the two establishment parties, the APC and the PDP, and the challenging New Age Labour Party, and onto his party, the NNPP. Mr. Kwankwaso was speaking in London at Chatham House, the prestigious think tank that in the last month or so has seen a parade of Nigerian politicians and political drivers as this country presidential election draws ever nearer. Mr. Kwankwaso spoke convincingly, his supporters would say, about all the main issues facing Nigerians, from education and security to corruption and good leadership. And obviously he talked about why he thinks he's best placed to lead Nigeria. Here's a little snippet from Mr. Kwankwaso's speech at Chatham House, and afterwards he talked to Arise chief correspondent John Cookson. For more on Mr. Kwankwaso's speech and other issues around the upcoming election, I'm joined now in the studio by the spokesman for the new Nigeria People's Party, or NNPP, Abdul Mumin Jibrin. I'm very disappointed and I apologize for that, but these technical things happen from time to time, and if we get that fixed, we'll go back to it and play it whilst we're talking.
Thank you very much, Charles, and thank you for having me back again.
Yeah, thank you very much for being here. So a big focus on Nigeria this week at Chatham House in London. First it was Peter Obi of the Labour Party, then the INEC chairman Mahmood Yakubu, and today the NNPP presidential candidate Rabiu Kwankwaso. Summarize for us the thrust of his speech.
Well, of course, you could say it's split into about 4 or 5 segments. The first, he appreciated the effort in creating such a platform, of which I think we also have similar in Nigeria, because I don't see no reason why institutions like NIPs and the rest will not be organizing such for presidential candidates. He thanked them for that and also extend his hands of friendship to the
right. Okay, let me just interrupt you there. Let me interrupt you. We'll come back to you. No. Let me interrupt you because we've got that clip, those clips ready now, and I think we really must play them. So let's go with it.
Let me assure you that when eventually the NNPP is voted into power, and I become president of Nigeria, we shall create an irresistible condition and make our country so attractive as a destination for businesses and career aspiration that majority of you will be attracted to better opportunities at home.
We are going to stop all this pilferage, all these wastages.
But wait a minute, presidents have been trying to do that for years now. Buhari pledged he would do it, and he hasn't. Where will you succeed in cracking down on corruption where others have failed?
You see, we have a record. I was a governor for 4 years. I was Minister of Defense for 4 years. I was in the Senate for 4 years. I was in Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps. I was in the Constitutional Conference. I was a civil servant for 17 years. Nobody found me wanting on any of this. I am moving with clean hands. And you see, just second.
You admit there was a whiff of corruption around 2015 over some pension funds, but you were never arrested. You were never. It was you said it was your rivals trying to smear you.
No, it's not. Look, let me tell you. I was there. You are there. I think when I was saying you go into politics, I will tell you they concoct all sorts of stories. You see, the security agencies and what do you call them, EFCC, they are not fools. If there is substance, they will act. I am in an opposition, I'm not with the government. There's just no opposition. That one just lies. Somebody, and you see somebody, all these people have the capacity to write a petition against you or you. Because they write a petition against you, that does not mean you are guilty. That's what we are saying. They write, I don't know how many petitions people wrote against me in the last 30 years or 47 years. So many. But you see, they are talking of people who will sit down and look at it and say, yes, there is substance, there is no substance. So writing petition, anybody can do it. And we don't care. You write 100 times, if they call me, I go and say, okay, I will explain.
And that's the NNPP presidential candidate there, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, talking to Arise chief correspondent John Cookson in London. And before that, you heard a snippet of his speech delivered at Chatham House earlier in the day. And of course, with me, Abdul Mumin Jibrin, who is a spokesman for the NNPP. Thank you for staying with us. And I apologize for interrupting you, but you were telling us about the thrust of that speech.
Yes, I just concluded the first part of recognizing the platform and extending his hand of friendship to the international community. Then, of course, he delved into his priority areas, the economy, national security, of course, human capital development, education, health, etc. And he's always been very clear about what he's going to do in terms of the economy, in terms of revenue. All the candidate talk about opening other visas of the revenue for the country and the rest. But he is also saying it is not only opening the other means of revenue for the country or increasing the revenue of the country. What also matters is managing effectively what you have. And in all of this, he tries to draw a nexus between what he is going to do at the federal level and what he did as a two-term governor of Kano State. In terms of managing what he has efficiently, he demonstrated it. He abolished the existence of a security vote. For 8 years as governor, he never used any security vote. He is the first governor in the history of this country, even before the federal government, to establish the Treasury singular account for the 8 years and all the projects that he did, multi-billion projects of infrastructure and everything that he did in education, and he never borrowed a penny. So he is going to bring in fiscal discipline. That he is going to deal decisively with the issue of crude oil theft to be able to increase our daily production, and that of course has its own impact on the value of our currency. He is also going to introduce the idea of consuming what we produce. He is very, very emphatic about that. So you're going to see a lot of factories coming up. You're going to see facilities going into factories. You're going to see removing a lot of the administrative hitches for exporters of commodities and the rest. So these are some of the key areas that he is going to tackle. Of course, he talked about what he is going to do in education. Everybody knows that when you talk about Kwankwaso, it is education, 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 education. He's going to try to replicate what he did in Kano. He is going to build 500,000 classrooms across the country to be able to mop up the 20 million children that are out of school. He's going to give priority to girl child and generally children education rather than giving loan to students. Of course, he is going to do scholarship. He is going to bring back the traditional idea of proper scholarship for students. Of course, in Kano, over a period of 4 years, he sent in 3,000 students all over the world. They are working both in Nigeria, outside the country, etc. He's going to build thousands of teachers' lodge, lecturers' lodge across the country.
Well, it's easy to say those things.
He is not
You're going to have to be able to afford it. The country at this point simply can't afford it.
By the time I tell you this, I sat in the National Assembly as Chairman Finance and Chairman Appropriations. And when it comes to the money of Nigeria, I will lecture you on this country. If you are able to apply fiscal discipline, to clean up the budgetary system, to become more efficient, to manage what you have properly, believe me, you will never believe the kind of the amount of savings that you are going to do. Yes, of course, we have difficulties. There are a lot of thinking out of the box that needs to be done to be able to further open up our revenue base and the rest. But I assure you that a lot of measures that we are going to put in place, particularly cleaning our appropriation process, blocking all the loopholes that you have here and there, and of course dealing decisively with the issue of crude oil theft, then of course expanding the tax base, a lot of other measures that he needed to do. The money will be there. Right. And he keeps saying it, and he keeps saying it, Charles, that people said that. Even we doubted him then as governor, that where will this money come from? But by the time he started applying all these strategies and all these policies, money were there. The money came. Then, of course, what you already know, he is going to. People say, oh, if people don't pay for NECO and whatsoever you have and the rest. Now that they are paying, what are they doing with the money?
Right. Well,
you've
made a lot of points.
Let me just land.
I need to get to a lot of things, and you're going to run out of time, and you'll say that I didn't give you enough time.
Okay.
But you're talking quite a lot, and we have a number of things we need to get to.
Okay.
One of them, of course, is where things are with your campaign, because we're seeing reports that around 700,000 members of the NNPP in Bauchi State have defected to the PDP. What do you have to say about that?
Wow. So we even have 700,000 people in Bauchi?
Well, that's what's being reported.
I never knew. I thought severally I have come here and you've also asked me these questions. We don't have people anywhere and the rest. For me, the whole of this information coming out now is a validation of the fact that we have people. I heard in the background statement that was given, the opening statement before this interview, that even in Borno, about 3 million, they said 3 million people in the Northeast. It's reported that 3 million people in the Northeast. You see what is going on?
Right.
What is going on is that it's what we've been telling you all this while, that Kwankwaso has northern Nigeria locked down. And I'm ready to bet anyone you will see the outcome of this election. And so the opposition, they are all panicking. And so what they could do now to give a bit of credibility to their movement and the rest and continue to assure their people is to say Kwankwaso's people are moving to opposition party. Well, that's why you are hearing the whole of this.
Right,
but you know that. You are not a child. You know that for somebody to tell you that 700,000 people are leaving a particular movement to move into another movement, you know it's a blunted lie.
Well, I don't know if it's a lie or not. I just know that this is being reported, and we're hearing that the zonal secretary, who you must know, of the NNPP in the Northeast, Dr. Babayo Liman, is being reported as saying that more than 2.8 million NNPP members in the Northeast zone have dumped the party for the PDP, including himself, who has resigned. I mean, that clearly isn't cheering news for the NNPP so close to the election. How much of a body blow is that? And surely you can't say that he didn't say that and that he didn't resign.
Well, another wow. So I will go back to what I have said. I'm glad that all of this information are coming out, and now people understand that we have a lot of people on ground. And when somebody goes to the media and tells you that 2.8 million people from the northeastern part of the country have left Kwankwaso, you also know that it's a complete, it's utter nonsense. But I tell you this, the structure of Kwankwaso, we've sat and we've explained this severally. It is not anchored on big men. We don't even want big men. We don't have big men. What we have in Kwankwaso, we have the masses.
Yeah, but he's not talking
about
big men.
So the Babayo that you are talking about is a big man. So if a big man leaves us, fine, go. If you listen to the previous interview of Kwankwaso, he said it, that even the big men that will be coming into our party, we will screen them. We don't even want them. All we want are the commoners.
You're a big man yourself.
Kwankwaso, yes, we are part of the few big men. We are part of, I'm not a big man, I'm a small man, but we are part of the few big men with Kwankwaso. So if a big man leaves, I can assure you that he will not have one person that will go with
Okay, you're talking about the grassroots,
yes.
And you're talking about, and part of that the Kwankwaso movement is made up, from what I understand, by a lot of young people.
Yeah.
The INEC chairman, speaking at Chatham House, gave a breakdown of the registered voters, saying that out of the 93.4 million registered voters, 70.4 million are between the ages of 18 and 49. What slice of that demographic do you expect to vote for the NNPP? Because that's the dominant demographic, isn't it? I mean,
well, I tell you, if you take it generally across the country, we've never pretended that the chunk of our vote will come from the northern part of the country. So if I dissect it into two and I take the northern part of the country, I will tell you that confidently that we will go with about 80 to 90%. Nobody is thinking about APC. Nobody is thinking about PDP. And when I hear APC say it is PDP that has problem, that Kwankwaso left PDP, Obi left the PDP, and Wike is leaving PDP, so PDP is dead and they are safe. I just laugh about it, because all of this segment of 3% of people that have left PDP, all left with equal number of PDP supporters and APC supporters. There are thousands, millions of APC supporters that have gone with Obi. There are millions of APC supporters, including people like us, that have gone with Kwankwaso. There are millions of also APC supporters that have gone with her. So both PDP and APC are DEAD, dead.
Well, talking about the APC and the PDP, let's turn to the deepening conflict and the war of words and flurry of allegations flying between the APC and the PDP. Allegations of drug dealing and corruption leveled against their principles. I mean, the NNPP, your party, has issued a statement calling for them to withdraw from the presidential election. Tell us more about the reasoning behind the NNPP's call.
Well, in strategic studies, we call what is happening mutual assured destruction. And we saw that coming. We know clearly that we're going to get to this point that they will collide, and the collision has happened. And both parties are holding valid points, valid arguments, and matters that cannot stand the test of a court of law. So both of them have attacked each other, asked for the arrest of each other, asked for the disqualification of each other. Dirty linen is being washed in the public glare. And what the question now you will ask yourself, and that is a problem that we face. Some of all these allegations, the cumulative of this allegation, both on the APC and on the PDP, if in the unlikely event that either of them emerge as a president, it will continue to be the highlight of their presidency. And you cannot rule out the possibility of either of them becoming a subject of blackmail, either locally or internationally. Then there are a lot of other associated questions that comes up. So we're going to have a very, very shaky presidency. We're going to have a very terrible situation that doesn't look good. So we're going from one situation, yes, Baba has done his best managing, let him finish his own. We don't want to go into another that situation, and that is why it is not about NNPP. I think practically everyone in the country is calling that both of them. And I tell you something, it's beyond even the individuals. Or you talk about Atiku, then you talk about my Baba. I don't like calling his name. You know, I like him. Aswaju, both of them. But it is also about the platform that they are coming from. These are platforms that has damaged everything that is Nigeria. The PDP has damaged everything that is Nigeria. The APC came and added the hammer on the coffin. So 16 years of PDP plus 8 years of APC in Nigeria amounts to total destruction of Nigeria. So the two parties, they are not options. Any right-thinking person. I was reading on the internet before coming here that one professor made a quote that the number of votes that PDP and APC will get in the next election will determine the number of mad people in Nigeria. That is what it means. Because if you know what you are doing, you cannot in the next election think of voting APC or PDP into government. Either of this party will finish this country. The option before Nigerians have never pretended is, of course, is Kwankwaso. Then second, your candidate Obi.
My candidate?
Your candidate.
No. We don't.
Charles,
no, hold on.
Charles,
we don't.
I know you would want to tell me no.
We do not take sides with any candidate, and I want to make that point emphatically. We don't support any single candidate. We simply present all of them to the people, the pros and cons and the ups and downs and so on, and let the people make up their mind.
Don't worry about that. There's nothing wrong with being obedient.
No. We don't do things like that. Seriously.
Okay, next question.
So don't try and impugn our reputation, because that would be going a bit too far. But the honest truth is this. Your party, I mean, you're talking about the PDP and the APC and the fact that they're fighting each other. We're also talking about in this program the fact that your party, the NNPP, is reported to be hemorrhaging support in that same northern region where you say you've got your most support. I mean, if you add, assuming the numbers are correct, if you add 700,000 defectors in Bauchi State to 2.8 million in the Northeast Zone, and another sort of group that are defectors, NNPP members in Zamfara state. I mean, that's a huge chunk of whatever votes.
Yes, you're talking about 4 million.
Well, what I'm saying is that you're talking about a huge
number.
How many Kwankwaso members do you have across northern Nigeria?
Let me, before going back to that
because
question,
if they're coming out of that's a big chunk.
Before going back to that question, let me ask you, all this number of 2.8 million, 700,000, 1 million that you are talking about, did you see them? Where did they come?
No. Look,
where?
I can't go around counting.
Where?
That's why.
So
journalistically we say reported.
First, I want to clarify that.
Yeah, we say reported to have defected.
Please take it in black and white that information is not true.
So how many
but
defected?
The good side of it,
right?
The good side of it is that it has come to glare that we have these people. It has come to the open.
Well, that's a contradiction in terms.
Yeah,
You're saying
it has come to the open.
That these people don't exist, but then at the same time,
no. I didn't say they don't exist. I said where did they decamp? I said where. So we have one person that has decamped in Bauchi. That's the only identity that you have. One person. It's only one person that decamped.
What I have here
now
is that just 700,000 members are reported to
a 30 minutes documentary was played, and you saw the video. You saw Kwankwaso going around about 34 states. It was captured, and all the crowd that he pulled. This man that you said he defected, he should come with, we should see people now that defected. We should see there's nobody now. One person defected. Please forget about this man. Let's talk about how we can get PDP and APC out of government.
Well, actually, that same man is calling on your candidate, Rabiu Kwankwaso, to join forces with the PDP candidate, Atiku Abubakar, in order to have a better chance of winning the presidency. But that's not likely to happen, is it?
Well, you see, we keep saying we don't have problem with alliance, but the basis of that alliance will be someone coming to align with us. Because we are going to win the election.
Yeah, but I would
you see, I tell you this, Charles. Look, the vote of the North in the next election will not be split. The chunk of the vote of the North will go one way. I can put a bet with.
Yeah, but there is no evidence to
and
support what you're saying.
And Kwankwaso is going to have the chunk of that.
Yeah, but on what basis are you making that projection? Because he has the support base. What is the scientific basis?
Yeah, because he has the spread. Because he did a lot of work. Because he built a lot of universities and gave a lot of children school fees. And he reached out to a lot. Today he remains the most popular politician in northern Nigeria.
Yeah, but that's what you say. I mean, we didn't see evidence of that in 2019 when he.
What evidence did you see now on this man that said 2 million, and you've given him 10 minutes discussing him? Did you see any evidence?
Hold on. What I'm saying.
No, I am now asking you. The man who gave you, the man who now you are quoting.
I thought I was the one asking the question.
Yes. Now, let's concede. For a second, I will assume your position. The man who talked about 2.8 million. Where did you see evidence that you kept hitting at me with it? Hitting at me, and now you are asking for evidence.
No.
What evidence? I don't have evidence. The way the Bauchi man spoke, that is how I spoke. That's fine. So we keep it at that.
What I'm saying to you is this.
And my own is even better. I'm giving you evidence that this man has a lengthy history of public service.
Yeah, but I'm not.
And he's touched people across northern Nigeria.
What I am asking you.
He touched people across northern Nigeria.
And you know
what determined the northern vote? I'm answering your question. Do you know what determined northern vote? Trust. Do you know why Northerners for 20 years?
Yeah, but they didn't trust him in 2019, did they?
20 years. He wasn't in the ballot.
No. He himself was not running.
No,
he
wasn't in the ballot.
The presumption.
No, the primaries is guided and controlled by the elites.
Look.
So that's it. He wasn't in the ballot.
Look, I know that. But what I'm saying is that the presumption is that if he has all this support and the people have this trust in him, if he puts his hand on another candidate and endorses that candidate, that followership will also automatically go to that. That's the whole point of trust, isn't it?
How many times did
That they trust what he says, but he didn't do that. I mean, Buhari swept the whole of the north.
Absolutely, absolutely. But Buhari was only able in the 20 years produced 2 governors or thereabout before 20.
Yeah, but there's no
2015. Listen,
there is no evidence
no, I want
that
to tell you something.
Vote that
before
Buhari won is going to come
you
to
know why?
Kwankwaso. There's no evidence. That's why I'm asking you for the evidence.
It is different from when someone is contesting an election and when he is putting someone to contest the election. Don't also forget, I could give you an example even with Kwankwaso. The person who, it's a thorough breed of Kwankwasia and was his PA. And he was a governorship candidate in Kano. And he won the election. Officially, he didn't win, but in reality, he won the election. So Kwankwaso has demonstrated that he can point at someone to be able to win the election. Then also, you could have a situation like what Wiki and Co are doing. If you have a primary situation where a couple of stakeholders within the party are not happy with it, people will not put their support. Or if you have a candidate that the masses do not trust. Charles, I want you to take this. The northern voter always align with somebody he can trust. And for now, the most trusted politician, there are a couple of politicians that are trusted in the north, but the one that has the highest number of followership that the northern commoners trust is Kwankwaso, because they believe that, one, what he says is what he will do. Number 2, he will not steal their money. Number 3, he's a performer. Number 4, he has all the experiences and everything. Number 5, his doors are open for everyone. Every day his doors are
Yeah, but you keep saying
and his
that
policies
he is
and his politics is not anchored on elites.
But you're saying that he is trusted, but you're not giving us any evidence of that trust.
What evidence?
If you talked about the rallies and the fact that he's able to get all these people, all the main parties.
What evidence?
Huge rallies when they go to any part of Nigeria.
What evidence?
So that doesn't tell us anything.
What evidence? It's more than picking up a party just 7-8 months ago, organizing congresses, having candidates in all the offices that we are going to run in the next election. 100% for every office we have a candidate, opening offices in the 774 local governments, traveling so far to about 500 local governments, not state capitals, 500 local governments, pulling the kind of crowd that you've seen that will be shown in the documentary. You've carried it already on Arise. You will see practical evidence of that. Then getting about 20 to 30 lawmakers at the national level decamping to his party, then already controlling. We've just taken over as minority leaders in Gombe State House of Assembly, all across the country, state assembly members jumping into NNPP. What trust? What evidence of trust is more than that? What Kwankwaso has done can be termed the 11th miracle of the world. It cannot. It is just not easy. Look, I'm telling you this. Even the so-called big men and the big parties, they will not tell you in their front. They're all our friends. We discuss with them. When they go inside the room, they say it that, wow, this man, it is unbelievable. Nobody ever believed that he will be able to pull
well, as we always say, the ultimate judge will be the election.
The election, yes.
In February. But I want to thank you very much indeed, Abdul Mumin Jibrin. I know that you're about to travel and you took the time to come in here and talk to us. So I really appreciate that very much indeed. And Mr. Jibrin is, of course, the spokesman for the new Nigeria People's Party, or NNPP.
Thank you so much. Charles,
thank you
of course,
very
you know,
much
it's always a pleasure coming here.
But please don't say
stay
that,
long. Don't stay long before you invite me again.
No, you're always welcome. But don't say that we support any party, because we don't.
Yes,
and that's not a fair thing to say.
Yes, you don't, because you are not human.
No.
So long as you are human.
We do not.
Not Arise. No. I did not say Arise support.
We don't.
Charles.
We don't. Well, how do you know who I support? That's again.
Because you said it to me in this interview.
I never said anything.
The last interview we had, you said, when I talk about Obi, you said, just give it to him. Why are you now saying he should be vice? I know what I'm saying now. Now watch your clips.
Come on, you're
watch
joking.
your clips. Should we get? No, I can put my own cash here.
Let's be
and
very,
it's going to be the new one. The CBN, the new
let's
go and watch your my last interview with you.
Listen.
When I was saying Obi should have run as a deputy to Kwankwaso, you said, what is the problem? Give him now.
Please.
You be obedient. If to say I'm not be Kwankwaso, I for be obedient.
Please. Let's keep this.
It's not.
Let's keep this nice and sober. Okay.
Yes, it's not
Mr. Jibrin, I want to thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Charles. Thank you very much. Thank you.